Okay, hello, welcome back. You know why we're here. We're reacting to the Supersonic Speed Crossworld, time trial, world records, blah blah blah. These are just the Crossworlds. If you wanted to see the main tracks, I have a separate video of that. That should be up. I can't imagine I'm putting up the Crossworld one first. But yeah, you can check that out if you want. But yeah, I want to see the Crossworlds too. I'm gonna assume that the Crossworlds aren't gonna be as crazy. Um, but who knows? I actually have seen that before because I had to re-record this. But that's a super cool trick. Um, Also, interesting thing to point out. If you've seen the last video, there's been a lot of delays in these time trials, at least from the time or at the time of this recording. Um, Also, other thing, those shortcuts I've been kind of glossing over. Um, they're pretty hard to hit without losing a shit ton of speed. So that is impressive, and it makes sense why they didn't go for both. They got a lot of airtime. I don't know if airtime's that worth it in this game, but who knows. They're really close to going off the edge. Oh my god. They're also running air trick up, but they're not running rings on air trick because they're running like the double speed. This is a really odd gadget combination, and I can imagine that this run is probably gonna get taken. And the only reason it hasn't happened yet is because I don't think people really are time trialing the Crossworlds as much as the main tracks. I could be wrong, I'm just going on vibes. Okay. I don't know if that's a time trial glitch or if that's a real thing that can happen. But that is a cool trick. That is not disappointing. That is a cool trick. I will not be learning that one for myself though. That's a bit too dangerous. Okay, Roulette Road. I said this in the last video, and I'm gonna say it again for this one. If you skip past the first couple of the Crossworlds that have been in the beta and the demo, I am not gonna blame you because I am not that interested in watching all of these. But I gotta do it for the sake of it. Other thing, if you've also seen the last video, you've known that this combo of either Shadow or Blaze in the handling car with Drift Kit, very common in these world records, even though I don't really think it's necessarily the best. Also, that's interesting, they cut that off very fast. Going off that top is not worth it, even for the rings. They did that corner tight, they did that nice. This is one of those tracks where I feel like you kind of need the handling car just to take those. I mean, most of the tracks in the game, the handling car is like worth it. Also interesting to see where they use the Wisp. This is one of those tracks where like using the Wisp is kind of like, you could kind of use it wherever. Me personally though, I feel like I would have used it on the straightaway. I can't remember what I did in my time trial because I didn't really do it more than once. But they're brake drifting throughout that, which is interesting. I wonder if it's faster to brake drift there or just take your finger off the accelerator. Because whenever I've been doing it, I've just been taking my finger off the accelerator. But I guess if this is world record, it might be better to brake drift there. Also, interesting thing, if you haven't heard him before, you'll be hearing all the lap 3 versions of these songs in the time trials, which is a nice touch that they included and made all of those. But pretty standard because, let's be honest here, Roulette Road isn't really that interesting. Okay, now for Kraken Bay. I'm interested to see what they do here, but seeing their gadget set kind of spoils what they're gonna do, I feel. I'm gonna assume they're going left path if they have this much trick up, and also like rings on trick. This also, if you watch the ring counter and watch the gameplay at the same time, you can tell the time trial lag because you'll see the ring counter going up when they're not tricking it sometimes. But yeah, Kraken Bay is kind of interesting because it's got the two paths, But I feel like anytime I play Kraken Bay, I'm not taking that right path. I don't know if it's actually slower, but it feels a lot slower. It feels terrible, at least to me. They're not 100. Okay, no, they're at 100 now. It took them a while to get to 100 rings. This is also probably the probably the most basic gadget setup that we've seen so far. No drifting, no stats up. I mean, aside from the air trick, but you know what I mean. Just air trick bounty with the air trick and then ring boost. I feel like you don't really see stuff like this as much, but you are tricking a lot on the stage. It's one of those water stages where you want to trick, in comparison to like Golden Temple. Well, I'm assuming Golden Temple you don't trick that much. But I haven't watched the world record. Okay, I haven't heard this final lap version of the song yet, but it sounds like decent. But yeah, pretty good lines. That's gotta be lag, because there's no way they didn't get hit like that. And then they use the wisp there. This is also one of those stages where it's like, where you use the wisp is kind of like, whatever, because there's not really a point where you need to use the wisp. There's no off-road cuts or anything. But interesting time trial. Very cool gadget setup too. Okay, this is one of those tracks where if you look, these like times for number one are close. Like, this is one of those ones where unless someone finds something big, I feel like we're not going to see big interesting speed car again with that like that one setup. But yeah, Golden Temple. This track is one that I felt like when the game came out, I was like, this feels terrible. What the hell? Like turning on the water? This is awful. But then you play it more and you're like, okay, it's not that bad. It's still a little bit basic though. I like it though. I'm okay with this track. The aesthetic and the music are also just amazing. They took that turn really well for not being like having anything in handling. But yeah, now here for the water, what do they do? Are we going to spam charge tricks? No, we're going to grab both of these. We're not charge tricking yet, we're not taking those gap jumps. Yeah, we're just taking a nice turn. That's one thing I kind of noticed. I feel like a lot of people notice that, is that for the most part, charge jumping in that water feels terrible. Like, I don't know what it just makes you feel so slow. I feel like there is a way to do it faster though, but judging by the fact that all of these world records are so close, maybe there is no faster way. Maybe that is the fastest. I guess we'll see in like a week or a month. By the way, that's another thing. While we're in this like slow ass turn, I should bring this up. I might do another one of these like a week from now. Like, give them a week to settle out, even though it's been 1 week since the game came out already. But see what they're like next week, and then I might see what they're like in a month, and then we'll go from there. If they haven't changed in that time, obviously I won't. And if this video doesn't perform well, I mean, there's no reason to really do that then, because it would just be me watching them again, and I could do that on my own time. But if you want to see that, like the video, comment, whatever, who cares. I just want to see the records. They cut that really close. And then a pretty standard record. I'm honestly kind of shocked they didn't do a little bit more of those charge jumps, but they don't seem that great. Alright, Magma Planet, and if you've seen the last video, or if you've been on the scoreboards, you'll recognize this player. SV Star Architect, or whatever their name is, has this record too. They got like I think 2 records on the main tracks, and then they were high up on the leaderboards and some of the other ones, but like couldn't get the world record. Interesting that they use the continuous boost, gives you rings there. That gives you, they're already at 100. That's insane. This honestly might be a track where I could even see you cutting out the starting ring boost of getting 30 rings at the start. Also interesting that they go down here. I feel like it is faster to go down there. Like, the plane does feel a little bit, well, it doesn't feel faster. It actually feels a lot slower to me. But the actual time cut off, like I feel like whenever there's a stage that has, like you can either go ground or plane, plane is normally, they pass you if you're grounded. Cutting that really tight. The plane controls look like, if you want to get the most out of them, you're gonna have to do what you don't think you have to do. But yeah, I'm honestly surprised. I mean, most of this is just like a little bit boring because it's plane controls. I'm not gonna lie to you all. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The plane levels, like I like Magma Planet, but when you're just steering the plane a little bit and just going like this, and it's not fast, is not that interesting. I don't think the plane controls are bad. I just think they're not that interesting. Also, another thing to notice, they don't really spam the drift in the air. They do it very loosely. I think they messed up there. They got stuck on the thing a little bit. You could probably improve that. They made it under 2 minutes though, which is impressive. Good for them. Alright, Hidden World. Another one of those stages, if you look over here, these times are close. Like the top 15 are like all within like the same second of each other. Which, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't clicked on this yet, but I'm gonna guess I'm clicking on it. It's going to be a speed vehicle with the speed gear. Not a drifting one. Yeah. And like the ring boost up. Makes sense, MF Pickle 0. What are these times? Honestly, I thought they would be a little bit faster. Not that that's a slow time, but Hidden World is so like, it feels like it ends so fast compared to the other tracks. But let's see. Sorry, it's a yawn. That's a yawn because we're on a Lost World track. They don't go for the boost there. Makes sense. You're going too far out of the way. I also would like to run a test on some point to see how much the double ring boost improves over the one ring boost. Because I feel like anytime I use it, I'm just like, the double ring one doesn't feel great, but who knows. Just taking safe straight lines pretty much here. Using the wisp there is interesting. I mean, like, again, one of those tracks where you don't really have anywhere to use the wisp, but I guess there gives you a little bit air to trick. This might just be me though. I feel like whenever I've done the time trials, it's better to use it mid-air, because the flying controls, you don't really want to drift back and forth to get the boosts. But maybe that is just slower. Who knows? I mean, these people know they have the world record. That's why. That is one thing though, it's good not to count things out like that. Like, the moment you count things out and just go, oh, using the wisp there is always better, that's when you start to lose the creativity of time trials and where you start to not be able to take a record. I mean, I'm saying this, but I know my ass is not getting any more records than my other one that I had for like a couple days. You can't just get like assume something's the best all the time, because sometimes like there could be a huge skip on this track that we don't know about. So it's not good to just assume that you know everything about something, which is why I like watching these. But a very standard track. Good for this player though. I didn't get their name, but it's going on the screen at some point. Okay, Steampunk City. Two things here. I'm interested to see how this record plays out, because there's a lot of different paths you could take. Another thing I'm interested to see, who's number 1? Zorro. If you've seen my last video, you know who Zorro is, and you would know I'm a little bit hesitant when it comes to Zorro. This record looks normal, except for the fact that they're using Vector, like a power character. Both of these times they've been using power characters for their world record, which makes me think maybe there's just something I'm missing, or maybe it's something that the game was missing that they've added. I don't want to assume, but I'm assuming. Okay, they take this. Okay, I'm gonna assume that's lag on how they got hit there and they didn't actually get hit. Which, I don't know if I've mentioned this in this video or if it was only the last one, but the time trial lag is really bad. No, I mentioned it because Kraken Bay. My bad, everybody. I'm still not used to recording things. Hopefully I'll be better in the future. But same thing with their Eggman Expo world record. There's nothing necessarily like crazy going on, but they look like they're going like extraordinarily fast. No, like, again, if you are Zorro and you're watching this, which I doubt you're watching this, if you are not cheating, my bad. I don't fully think you're cheating. I just think it's a bit like suspicious on the Eggman Expo world record that you're like a 2 or 3 seconds above everybody. I can't remember the numbers. Which isn't that surprising. It's just the fact that there wasn't any like new skips discovered. Also, I've been talking about this player the whole time and less about the actual track. It's interesting they only go there twice. Maybe it's not faster all the time, but only when you need rings and then the boost. And then they stay on the top path, which I didn't know the optimal path for Steampunk City, but I was kind of assuming that the upper path was like the faster path because like it's a Sonic game. That's top path being faster is kind of Sonic philosophy, like 101. That was a little bit weird thing that happened at the end, but again, probably just lag. Good job to Zora though. I hope for everyone's sake that Zorro is not cheating and just... I hope there's just something I'm not understanding about the game. Okay, for the first time in this video, we have Blaze in a handling car. If you watched the last video, you'd know that Blaze in a handling car is pretty common in the main tracks. Which, again... I'm recording this right after I've recorded the main track video. I just didn't want to put them both in the same video. I didn't need to tell you all that. Anyways, I haven't checked yet because I've been recording, but pretty sure Blaze and Shadow have the exact same stats, so it makes sense why that. Hit the wall a little bit there, which is a little bit interesting. They also have not gotten the max rings yet. It might be worth it to take off that double handling and put their brake drifting there, and put in that off-road giving you rings thing, because they don't get to 100 rings till lap 2. That's so much speed they're giving off, or giving away, and like in a track like this, I feel like having rings as fast as possible, like you could take that first cut for more rings, and then like you take the second cut, I don't know. Again though, this is why these people have the world record and not me. They know something I don't. They didn't hit the ball there. No, they did there, 99 rings. Or they just won at 100. I don't know. I can't pay attention to all these things. There's too many things to pay attention to. That's so clean. I'm always scared to brake drift. I normally just take my finger off the accelerator. But with how I'm seeing it more in these time trials, I'm thinking it's probably better to just, like, use the brake drift instead of taking your finger off the accelerator. Or maybe do both. Not 100% sure yet. Not going for the King Lisp, not worth it at all. And then yeah, boost through there. They lose one ring there again, which is also interesting. I don't know why they were at 99 rings when normally when you hit you lose 2. Who knows, not me. They drift to the right a little bit first before they go left. But yeah, good time trial. I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I feel like their gadgets could be improved. Okay, unless I'm misremembering, I think this is our last Sonic Unleashed stage. And we got Shadow in a speed car. Less common than you might think. And their gadget set is interesting. Like, they got the trick boost up with giving you the ring bounty, and then what's it called? The 30 rings at start, and then speed up. Which that tells me we're probably staying in the water the whole time. We're not going in that plane. Yeah, we're gonna be charge tricking as much as we can. I'm gonna assume that like it's just like lagging, time trials lagging, and they're trick jumping a little bit more than this, because there's like sometimes where they, I don't know what I'm saying. But sections like that, I assume they were tricking off that, or maybe not. But yeah, this seems like it's... Oh, there's a good time to use a wisp. This seems like it's a pretty decent setup for this map. Like, you don't need to be doing that much turns. You don't need that much of a handling car. Even though I would still probably prefer to use one. So just going in all on speed here is probably a good thing. One complaint I have with the time trial system in this game that runs like this make me think about, and I've noticed it before because it's kind of hard not to notice when there's such a blatant like missing spot on the screen, but not having a speedometer on the screen is like, why? Why can we not see their speedometer? Like, is it that laggy that like they don't want it to be last lap? They're going up here for the King Wisp. Interesting. I wonder why. And one thing that's interesting about this is their times for lap 2 and 3 are both at like 40 seconds. So it's like, I wonder why they used the King Wisp here. And I'm gonna guess they used it on that turn and we just didn't see it because it was lag. Very interesting. It's a cool record though. Wow, okay, for one, there's a lot of blaze. 2 seconds? How are you 2 seconds faster than everybody else? I wanna see. Misty Derp. You're using the same setup. How are you 2 seconds faster? Okay, again, I don't want to assume, but whenever you see a massive thing like this, always take it a little bit with a grain of salt, because there's a chance they could be cheating, but maybe the lines are that good. I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and record back-to-back time trials and compare them and try and like analyze if someone's cheating. I'm not doing all that. I got things to do. I got Sonic Racing Crossworlds to play after this. Also, since this track is like, there's nothing too crazy interesting about the time trial, aside from the fact that they're using the boost that gives you rings on the boost, and like, they go like incrementally up. This is really lagging because they're not showing the rings showing up at all, which is also weird to me, but whatever. There's 4 down there? I don't remember there being 4 down there. That's really weird. I know there's another track that does that. Cyberspace gives you like more wisps than you need. I didn't know this one did though. I do not remember that. Also, this is one of those tracks where, hey, the lag stopped. They showed the rings. I completely lost my train of thought off of that now. So yeah, it looks like those wisps disappear after lap 1, just like the other stage, Crystal Mine. Do they get the King Wisp? They don't take the King Wisp? Okay, I mean, I guess you have to go wide. You don't really need boost that much on this stage. There's not like a cut you gotta take. Also, I guess we're back to lag, because they didn't show any of the rings. But yeah, I really like the remix of this stage. I know there's some people who don't like this music remix, because they like the original Galactic Carnival, or whatever this stage is called. Galactic Parade? Carnival? I don't know. I don't like Sonic Colors. Sorry, any Sonic Color fans watching this. That was weird at the end. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, interesting world record that it was, that was 2 seconds faster. Like, I feel like we got something going on there. Also, interesting weird glitch. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this. On time trials, sometimes it'll tell you that you got the record as, your personal best is Sonic. I've not been playing Sonic, which is weird. This is also 2 seconds. Now, again, I don't want to just assume that they're cheating, because it is possible that, well, not even that it's possible. There's a lot of people who aren't even doing the Crossworlds time trials. So it could just be because there's less people doing it. No one's trying it as much. No one wants it as bad as these people. Just one of those things where be skeptical whenever you're watching these. I mean, it's a racing game on PC. Like, we already know that there's people cheating, because if you missed last week, I didn't make a video about this or anything, but I'll put up on the screen like some of the times that people were getting. Wait, what just happened there? I just their card like turned around and glitched. I don't know. I'll have to watch that in footage. If I'm just making up things and like whoa, that sounded like a forced reaction, but I'm not faking. I didn't know you could go over on the right there. I thought you had to go on the left. I completely lost my train of thought because of that. Oh yeah, I was gonna say I have to go back in footage because it looked like her car like completely turned around, but I might just be making things up. Because I looked away for a split second at my second monitor. But this is actually a lot more interesting of a time trial than I assumed it was gonna. Like, that's so cool! They used 2 wisps on that though? Is the wisp gonna disappear? I don't know if they used 2 or 1 wisp on that. It's hard to tell with the lag. Okay, based on the fact that it's not disappearing, I'm going to assume that they only used 1. It sounded like they had 2 boosts. That was probably just drift boost then though. Yeah, that's what they did. They like spun like that. Okay, that's weird. That's also, I'm gonna assume, just lag. This is one of those ones that's really impacted by watching with lag. Like, most of the time, it's not that bad, but this one I'm like, I don't know what's happening half the time. A cool record, though.
How disappointing.
Interesting that it's 2 seconds faster or however long. I gotta recheck now, so I'm not... Yeah, it's like 2 seconds faster. Well, like 1.5. Well, 1.5? Yeah, I don't know. Also, yeah, you just saw right there, now it's saying Miku. Okay, on to Sweet Mountain or whatever. And very, very interesting. This is the first time that I've seen someone using the extreme gear on time trials. Well, someone using extreme gear on time trials who has a world record. Very interesting. Also, this is like Jack Gaming or whatever, and they've got a couple other time trial, well, not world records, I don't think. They used to have it on North Star Island a couple days ago, but they've been pretty high on the leaderboards. This is the first time I've seen one of their records, I think. They hit the thing, they hit the thing. Interesting. I wonder why this is faster. I'm using a board here. They're also using the trick thing with the rings up and ring boost. Very standard setup that you don't really see that often, even though it's like decent. I guess you are boosting a lot during this stage, but like there's a lot of stages where you're boosting a lot. So who knows? Like I would assume something like Starlight Carnival, like you're boosting a lot, but like that one speed's better. But I guess because there's less turns. Very interesting. Also going for that 10 ring. This is fast though. This is good. Like they're doing good. I'm just more confused on why a different board isn't better. It might be for the water sections, honestly. Like the extra handling and smaller hitbox might be it. Because I know a lot of people do struggle with that water section, especially online. Even though the game's been out for like a week, there's still people who don't know about the taking your finger off accelerating or brake drifting. But that was a clean run. Good job, Jack Gaming or whatever. Okay, now into White Cave. I'm really surprised to see that we're using Blaze on a speed vehicle. Blaze I'm not surprised to see, but a speed vehicle on White Cave, I'm kind of surprised. If any map was going to have handling, I would assume White Cave was going to be one of them. Because some of those turns get, like, absurd. They go off the side there. I didn't realize there was two you could go off of. That's kind of cool. And then the speed is good for here. Like, you're just going straight here. It makes sense. And then they're already at 100 rings because, like, their trick. I want to see where they go. Yeah, they make that. That's crazy. I find that hard to hit on a handling vehicle, and they just do that, like, so fast on a speed vehicle. They're going really fast. I don't know how they're going so fast. I mean, they do have 2 speed ups, but, like, I mean, we've seen ones where people have speed ups, and it doesn't feel this fast. This is probably, I would say, one of the harder tracks in the game, just as a whole. Just because of this part. Like, the fact that everything's curved a little bit, and then landing that. Look, they almost fell off. I would say this is one of the harder tracks in the game. If not the hardest track in the game. I can't really, off the top of my head, think of one that's harder. I'm trying to think, especially one that's harder to go fast on. Because there's not a lot of tracks in this game. That's one thing I kind of had a little bit of a... Oh, they got that close, but that was sick. That's a little bit of a complaint I have with this game, but it's not really a complaint, more of a nitpick. Most of the tracks feel a bit too, like, railed off. Unlike this stage where you could, like, easily fall off. But it makes it stand out more since there's less tracks like that. But yeah, no, that was clean and that was fast. That was crazy. That was kind of insane. Okay, interesting thing, going on to cyberspace now, interesting thing that I've noticed on these Crossworld time trials, there's a lot more speed vehicles. They're, like, majority of the base tracks use a handling vehicle with like Blaze or Shadow. Not all of them, but a majority. And we're seeing in a lot of these Crossworlds a lot of people using speed cars with speed up. Now there's 2 things to consider with that. Like, why are they this is like a whatever flying section. It's like, why are they using speed there? Why are they not using speed? And they brake drift for half a second, you could hear it. It's like, what makes the Crossworld tracks different? And I'm kind of noticing that a lot of them do have a lot of straightaways compared to the main tracks, which isn't a bad thing. But I wonder why no one's using, like, charge or counter-charge drift instead of just having speed. Like, it's interesting to me. Now obviously I don't know if it would be that great on this one because on the flying section. Any stage with the flying section, you're kind of missing out you're missing out on stuff if you're using counter drift. because you can't do it in the air. It's not that much of a time waste, but using a wisp there, it makes sense. But yeah, these Crossworlds, I'm like, oh, I didn't know it changes on lap 3 of the song to drop something, whatever that song's called. I didn't actually know that song had a name, but if you do the time trials, you can unlock the Frontiers. So the Frontiers OST, and has a name in there. I guess it makes sense why they have that song in the jukebox then, because they have a remix of it, because they have all the original tracks. I did not know that. That was very cool. It's a really good attention to detail. Both of the Frontier tracks do that, where they change the song for lap 3. It's cool. But yeah, standard record. I think these Crossworlds are probably going to get taken over in the future when people start bringing in like counter drift in there. Now for digital circuit, I'm not even going to cut for this one just because it's right here. Our last world record to go over. Very close on these ones. And now I might, again with this speed setup, I might be misremembering. So then I'll see during editing if I'm right or wrong. The main tracks had a lot of these same people getting world record. Crossworlds, again, I could be wrong. I think every single Crossworld has had a different like world record holder. They're going up top. Okay, interesting. I've been debating to myself if up top or bottom is faster. Despite never trying the bottom path, I always go top path. But it seems like all of the Crossworlds have had mostly different people, but they've been using like a lot of the same vehicle and gadget combination. Like this double speed up in the speed vehicle with either Shadow or Blaze, and the air trick seems to be very common. This song is really good, by the way. I like this one a lot. I haven't been like talking about the OST because I want to make like a separate video, like doing a tier list on like all of the OSTs and whatever. I don't know if that's a bit too basic. I don't know if people want to watch that. But I might do it anyways because it's fun. But yeah, I like this track. This is one of those crossworlds I normally pick if I'm in the lead and it's an option. I like this one. I also don't know if it's faster to go that way rather than go on the boost path. That's interesting that they did that. And then yeah, straight away here. It's a pretty standard track when you're going on the time trials. And that's one thing about the Crossworlds. I feel like most of these aren't designed to be played. Well, not even I think. They aren't supposed to be played back to back to back. Like they're like the Crossworlds. So it's like when you play them in time trials, especially the fact that there's no lap 3 change really stands out. It's like, I don't know, it's interesting to me how like these tracks when you play them in the game don't seem boring, but then you watch them and they're like, they're whatever. But yeah, that's it for all of the world records. I've looked at all these other ones, I've looked at all these other ones. I am not gonna bother going down to Sonic's feed and seeing those records. There's already another video of someone doing that if you want to see that. But yeah, thank you for watching. Again, if you want to see all the other supersonic ones, I uploaded a different video with that in it. And if you liked, like, and if you want to see more Crossworlds content, I don't have too many plans right now. I don't like know when I'm gonna get things out, but I do want to do more Crossworlds content. So if you're into that, subscribe, do whatever, blah blah blah. And I hope you enjoyed the video.